Cloud. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the first call of the year of 2026, and it's going to be our weekly review, weekly outlook, where we go over what we expect for the rest of the week. And in this particular call, this is just going to be a chill call since there's not a lot of people on. I was gonna do something like crazy, go over all the stuff I've been working on, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna save it for when we got a few more people on the call. So, how's everybody New Year been? How you guys been? I talked to you, Anna. How about you, Elaine?
Well, as of this morning, I did some paperwork to sell my house.
Hey, that's good. That is good. Are we going to a
It-
different country?
I
Where
don't
we
know.
going
It's
after?
kind of bittersweet. It's kind of bittersweet because I don't really want to sell it, but I have to, you
Yeah,
know. But it's bittersweet because honestly, right now with everything that's going on, to get rid of debt is not a bad thing.
nah,
So
it's not. It's not. It's too it's too skeptic right now in a lot of
yeah.
areas. So I totally understand, but you got the seller. You already somebody already signed the papers.
No, but I'm in a good area, so I'm pretty sure. Well, my area is up and coming, so I'm pretty sure I'll get offers soon. It's just a matter of if I'm going to accept it or not. Otherwise, plan
Got
B. I need to
got
make a few $100,000 really soon, so that's why I'm here.
That's all right. That's all right. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything go good with that.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
no problem. No problem. Um, Anna, glad you feeling better.
Mm, Thank you.
Glad you feeling better. My girl been over here getting it in on the charts.
hmm
Took some good trades last week. I already know.
Yeah.
Keisha, how you doing, Keish?
I'm all right, and you? Long time no hear from.
I know, I know. Glad you back on. Glad you on.
So am I.
What up, homie? What up, Trees? Oh,
I'm on mute. Sorry. Hey, Corey.
what's going on? Tell Crystal, hey, she in the background.
Hey, Crystal.
Oh, hey, what's
How you
up?
doing? Happy New
Good.
Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I ain't gonna hold this up too much longer. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in it. Um, I got something I am gonna show you guys too. I am gonna show you guys something I want y'all to look at. And we'll discuss that too a little later, but we'll start with the earnings for this week. I'm not gonna get into too many options yet this year. I don't like how we've been. I don't. It's a little too much uncertainty going on right now for me to pick option plays right now. So I'm not really looking at options right now. I'm mostly focusing on futures. But that being said, if I do see something that's probably too good to be true, I am gonna take it. But I just don't like individual stocks right now. I think it's just not a clear path for any great setups for me personally that meet my criteria. Um, though I do know people that's killing it, but I rather right now my priority is to get the rest of these funded accounts done so that I can max out on my funded accounts. So that's kind of my priority on that. So, but we do have earnings this week and a lot of big names. You can already see we got three of them in Netflix that are going to be posted. Keep an eye on Netflix because they just did a split a couple weeks ago, and this will be the first earnings report since they did the split. The other thing with them is also um they still are up in the air with that Paramount deal. And with that being said, that may be one that to take a look at. So We don't have a lot of news this week, but earnings could be driving our week, especially in the beginning of the week. So with this 3M and Netflix going on, then we got a couple names, Ali, Khaki. That's some ones that I'm familiar with. Couple of financials, some big name. Intel one we want to pay attention to. They're definitely that's going to be something that you want to pay attention to based off of the AI stuff and hardware and AI areas. So keep an eye on that. But for the most part, we got pretty clean week earnings report. I think the biggest thing this week going to be looking out for Trump is speaking this week. And then we got PCE, which I'll go over that next. Those are probably the biggest things. So on Tuesday, tomorrow, we don't really have a lot tomorrow. Um, nothing on the calendar tomorrow, but on Wednesday, like I said, Trump speaking at 8:30. So definitely you want to keep an eye on that because it's happening right before the market open. And then at the same time, we have pending home sales. Pending home sales came in at 3.3%, and they projected it to be down, which is seasonal. Usually around the holidays, you don't get a lot of home sales. So that's why they projecting it to be down on this read. And that's okay. Usually you start getting a lot of sales like right around spring and going into the fall and summertime because that's people usually want to get their kids settled before school starts, so they already in place. And then on Thursday, that's when we got our bigger news releases. We got 8:30 GDP. We have unemployment claims, and then we got core PCE. In this particular week, they're gonna actually add in the October data from the time frame that we spent in lockdown, not lockdown, but the government was closed. So this PCE release should be important. And this will be they use PCE to gauge inflation. So that's why you want to pay attention to this one. And this is one of the ones that the feds use a lot to gauge inflation. So Thursday is probably going to be our biggest news day, but I don't know if it's going to be our biggest moving day. So I don't, because we don't know what Trump's going to say on Wednesday. And then on rounding it out on Friday we got a lot of foreign news, but we only have PMI and consumer sentiment, which we do need to pay attention to these, but these may or may not. They're hit or miss on PMI and consumer sentiment. So I don't know how much you want to carry into it, but it's good to know that they on the calendar. And right around that 10 o'clock candle, 9:45, 10 o'clock candle is usually when a lot of us get our setups around that time. So you still want to know that that's something to consider. So that's the earnings, that's the news. And now we can just go ahead and get into the charts. I'm gonna start with dollar and gold. Dollar and gold. This is gold. Let me go get dollar. Did I? Dollar here. So the expectation is dollar. Everything's kind of been ranging a bit, but ranging to the upside, right? This was our yearly opening and our monthly open for January right here. And we pushed up, bounced off the monthly here, and we've been pushing up ever since then. This high took out this order block. I mean, not order block, but fair value gap right here. And then we took out this high, and now this high is our next high we aiming for. But we've been ranging right below that previous week high. So we kind of 50-50 on this.
So you are doing a 2-hour analysis, right?
on 2 hour and 1 hour. It's the same highs, but
Okay.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same look. I was just looking to see if I was gonna missing anything off the 2 hour chart.
Okay.
But nothing that's like crazy right now. We kind of stuck in the small range. We got the previous week high, previous week low right here, and then we got some liquidity here, and then we just set the low here. So we kind of 50-50 on this. Don't really have an opinion about where we could go, but just looking at where we are right now, we got liquidity that we just made on Monday, and this low is and this low, right? This is the closest that we have to taking out liquidity. We got this high. There's a little small fair value gap right here, and then we got these equal highs right here, right? If I'm a betting man, I would assume that we would take at least one or two of these lows out where we got one low here and then one low here. And I would just assume that we would probably go ahead and take this low out. And then if we do, we got this order block right here. And then there's another one down here that might keep us from falling too low. So main target to the downside, I would say, is this previous week low right here. If we start to take out this low and we start to taking out these lows, you can kind of expect for gold to continue to push higher. Gold, let me send you this chart. Oh, sorry. I don't know why that started to play. Let me send you this chart. I'll send it in a group. This is dollar. Apparently, I need to charge my keyboard. It is flashing red. And let me make sure that doesn't go out while I'm on this call. So that way. Please. 1 second. And yeah, this one looking like it could go anyway, but just based off gold, which you'll see in a second, I'm gonna assume that we go ahead and take out those lows or do something to like we just go sideways and gold still kind of push higher because there's some levels on gold right now that are kind of gold is potentially making a new all-time high, which it just did a couple days ago. So I'm thinking that we might go ahead and get that. So that's kind of the reason behind that. Let's see. I'm gonna just put this here for myself. So I got it. So that's dollar. Then let's look at gold. Here is gold. So, like I was saying with gold, even though we had a holiday yesterday, gold did open up with a gap right here. This is a new week opening gap. And we opened up with a gap and we left a fair value gap right here. So we also have we moved up from a fair value gap right here. This is from the daily. Let me annotate that. That's from the daily. And we left this low on Friday and we took out all of the liquidity that was above these highs, right? And this is all fresh new highs, right? So this is all new area, new levels. We making new all-time highs right here. So with that being said, if dollar does push down, I feel like we go ahead and take out this new high we just made and maybe push at least projecting around the 47.50 area as a main target where we could see some sideways action on dollar And there may be a chance that we push down into this gap and then we move up from there, right? If we don't do that, there is also a possibility that we come and aim and take out this low, which that'll look something like just adding in this. If we do come down, we take out the low. But I think that overall we stay inside of this daily fair value gap. And if we do push down, we still potentially bounce up inside of this range. And the only thing that I would look for that would change this opinion is if Trump says something that takes us out of this, out of our price range that we currently are in right now. So that's kind of what I'm looking for dollar. I mean, for gold. And gold, this has been probably the play of the year, gold and silver, because they just been moving. So, but I'm gonna stick with my pair, which is S&P and the indices. But every now and then I do get a good trade off of gold, but it's got to meet some criteria. Definitely don't want to see it playing around with dollar. And I definitely want to see it doing the opposite of what dollar is doing for me to take it. And dollar got to be clear for me to take this. Dollar got to really be showing me like a clear path. It can't be something that's like I got to guess on. So what I want to show you guys is now that we're about to move to indices, is I want to show you guys something that I've been looking at. And shout out to Ocean. He's the one who brought it up to me. We talk all the time, and I used to trade and look at the VIX, but I just never looked at it in comparison to the indices, right? And in doing some research, and just doing some chart studies and stuff, what we've come across and what we've learned about it is that the VIX has an inverse correlation to the indices, right? And the inverse correlation implies that if you see the VIX doing moving up, or if you see the VIX moving up, you should see the indices going down. If you see the indices going down, you should see the VIX going up. If you see VIX ranging, indices should be ranging or already moving in a preconditioned direction already, right? I was gonna do like a big presentation, but I'm not gonna do it, but at least not for now, right? We're just gonna bring it up for discussion. Like I said, I wanted to have this with more people on the call, but because this is something that I want you guys to start looking at and maybe put this side by side to your, if you trade in Dow, if you trade in NASDAQ and S&P, right? If you're looking for it on your chart, you're going to look for VIX and you're going to look for the CBOE volatility index. You do have to add this data, right? And I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me open this up in a different window. So you got to have a paid subscription of TradingView, and you need to purchase the data for it, right? So under your account, there's a setting called subscription. And then you are going to need to, I have a couple subscriptions already where I have CBOE data and CME group data. That gives me all the data for the futures, right? The one you need to have is debatable because I just know you need to have both of the CBOE data, right? One is $2 a month and the other one is $6 a month, right? And what this gives you is the data feed for the VIX, right? And if you don't have it, it's okay, but the data is delayed by 15 minutes. So you can still use it, but there is a delay on the data, right? So if you want to get live data, you'll have to get the subscription, which is it'll be $6 a month. That's not too bad. I hope everybody can handle $6 a month if they choose to use this, but it is an additional cost, but it's very, 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 very helpful when I show you how this correlates, right? The VIX also, it's not 24/7, right? It is only from 3:15 a.m. until 3:30 p.m., right? And there is a closing period between the New York pre-market and the New York open. So if you look at the charts, right, the VIX closes, it shows here at 16:15, right? And then it closes at 16:15, and then it opens back up at 3:15 a.m., right? Then there's a close period where at 9:15 to 9:30, you'll see that there's usually a gap on that 9:15 to 9:30 candle, right? That's why you see this session right here, this session line right here. So this basically, it opens up at 3:15. There's a pause at around 9:15 and 9:30, then it opens up again. But what I want you guys to take in consideration, and I'll show you guys a couple of examples on this chart. This one. So a trade that I took last week, just go side by side on this trade I took last week, but I just took it in demo, but because I haven't actually traded live this year yet. But the way I want you guys to look at this is, if you see the VIX at a low, indices should be at a high, right? And if you see indices at a high, right, like we are right here, indices at a high, VIX should be at a low, which it is. And that's when everything is moving in line the way it's supposed to. Indices is at a low, and you can see my cursor is over here on the left, on the right. VIX is at a high, right? And you want to see that in all cases, right? So my nephew over there. So that's how you kind of that's how you want to look at it, right? And if you see the indices sweep liquidity, you want to see that the VIX sweeps liquidity, right? So prior to this high being made, there was liquidity above this high. And if you look at my cursor at Monday, is Monday, January 12th, 3:00 in the afternoon, there's liquidity. That's the previous day high, right? We swept that on the next day on the 8:00 candle. And then if we go over here, Monday in the afternoon, same situation over here, but in reverse. There was liquidity on the previous day low here, and we swept it at that 8:00 candle over here on the VIX. When we swept it, we made a low, we traded back up, took out this high. Same way over here. We swept this high. Over here, we traded below this low, and then we traded back into it, and that gave you this sell-off right here. Same thing happened over here. We swept this low, made a new low. We took out this little short-term high, and then we made the push up that made this high right here. And if you study the charts, you should see this over and over again throughout the chart. This is just one example, right? If we look at this low on S&P, right? If we were saying like, if we were saying that we already like bullish or bearish or whatever the case it is, if I'm thinking I need to buy, right? I need to look at VIX to confirm that this line up with what my daily bias is, right? Am I making a high around here? If I'm making a low over here, I should be making a high around here, right? And which it does, right? So if I'm bullish, I need to see that the VIX lines up with price selling off, right? And it does. And then if that's the case, indices should be pushing up, right? Repeating this over and over and over again, right? The way you want to look at it is you want to already have an idea of what your bias is, right? If I'm going into the day and I'm thinking that I might be bullish because of whatever the case is that you've proven that you should be bullish, make sure that you at your right levels. Make sure you see your fair value gaps. Make sure you got your order blocks and all your key levels on the chart. And if you see VIX lining up with what you're saying, that give you that last confirmation you need to get into the trade. The other thing is, once you see it on the higher time frames, looks for structure on the lower time frames, right? You can look for structure on the lower time frame. So case in point was, I think Friday was a good example, right? If we look at Friday on the 5-minute. So Friday on the 5-minute looked like this, right? This is the 315 candle. This is that 9 o'clock gap, right? So going into the open on Friday, the 9 o'clock open, we had a high of the day, a lower high, and we had another lower high going into Friday, right? Over here at those same levels, same time frames, right? If we look at this candle, we had a high right here at the 315 candle. You can see it kind of lining up over here, right here. But we had a high here on indices, but a low on VIX. We made these equal lows right here, but primarily this one, we had a high setting up on VIX right here, right? Same way over here. We had a little short-term high before the market opened around 7:45, around 7:45, right around here. We had a high right here. So we were already moving in sequence as we should be expecting it to do, right? We sweep this low. We sweep this low right here. We sweep this low right here. At the same time, indices has swept this high, right? And liquidity on the short term, on the lower time frame, got taken out right here. And then you have an additional confirmation to say, hey, I'm already thinking we about to sell off, right? If we don't take the high of this blue candle right here, we're not taking the high of this blue candle, and we don't take the high of this candle, we should be, this should help me confirm my sell, right? And at the same time, VIX is rejecting this low. It came back above here, and we took out this high. When we took out this high on this candle, at the same time, that we taking out the high on this candle, ES is selling off, right? You can see this also happening on, let's look at NQ. Same day, right? NQ played out a little different. Swing high right here. This is the low that it was at right there. So that was the low of the, it wasn't the low of the day for VIX, but it was the high of the day before the market opened on NQ, right? We sweep the low, right? We swept the high over here. We swept the high. So now that we swept the high, if we are going to continue to go higher, this wick should get taken out, right? At the same time, the wick is getting taken out. If it's going to go higher, we should be getting what I tell y'all. There should be a fair value gap through this high. We don't get that, right? So that's lining us up with this sell, right? And once we get below this candle, that also help us because this is now like a little small order block. If once price takes out these highs, which is doing on this candle, right? That's your additional confirmation. If you didn't get in up here, you know, any fair value gap here, here, or here, you can use that as well. But up here, you already got what you need to say, hey, I got an order block. We traded below it. I can take the trade from up here somewhere, or I can take the trade after we break this low or once we get into this candle right here. You can see it on YM. Same situation. This one traded a little different. The higher day was in London, right? A bigger candle got created. This actually was a clean setup, but you would have had a lesser accurate entry because this wick was pretty big, right? But if you're waiting for this wick, in Dow Jones case, once it swept this, it gave you this wick to get in on right here. And that would have gave you a good trade to take out this low again and then sweep trade down into this order block right here. So I want you guys to kind of look at this, study it. Don't trade it initially. Just watch how it moves on the chart. Just have this open for now. Even if you don't get the subscription, just have it open on the charts for now. So you can just see how it moves as you trade throughout the rest of the week. Don't necessarily look for trades off of it. And then the other thing is you want to have a bias going into the market first. It's not, you're not picking trades using this. You're just using this for timing. You're using it as an additional confirmation. And you're using it to make sure that you're seeing what you're supposed to see. That's basically how you want to use this. Like if I'm already looking at the charts and I'm saying that I think price should go higher, right? And I've already marked up my fair value gaps, my liquidity, my order blocks, and all that other stuff. That's all. Those are things I need to have before I even look at the VIX, right? I don't need to look at the VIX until after I got my setup. Like once I see, okay, I know what I want to trade. I know what I want to do. Now let me just use the VIX as a last confirmation to say, are we in line, right? And if we not in line and you go through your checklist and all that your checklist says is if VIX is saying that if I'm bullish, I need to make sure that VIX is bearish, right? If I'm bearish, I need to make sure that VIX is bullish. And what you'll notice is another thing you'll notice when you go back and study the charts is a lot of these days when we have these big sell-offs, we have a lot of volume, right? And the way you have to think about it is you need more volume to sell a market than you do to buy a market. A lot of people, old traders and all, they say buying is slow. Buying doesn't require volume. Buying just requires new buyers, right? But selling the market requires a shift in the market, right? And in order to shift that market, you need a lot larger sales and more selling, right? So take a look at a day like now let's look at a daily chart on VIX, right? Let's look at the daily chart on VIX. So let's look at the biggest candle that we have on a red day, right? And we're gonna just look at a couple of these. Let me put these back side by side on the daily. We just gonna look at ES again. So on the daily chart, right? If we look at the biggest selling days on VIX, right? Like the last big red candle was here, right? This was Monday, January I'm looking at the wrong pair. This is VIX over here. Right. Okay. So VIX on the daily is here. So we're just going to do a side-by-side comparison. And this is Dow Jones. We can look at Dow Jones too. That's cool. But if I look at the biggest selling day, which is just in this last couple days, right? It looks like this is a huge one right here, right? This is a huge one on VIX, right? That's January 9th, right? It wasn't a big buy-in day, but we did buy, right? This is on Dow Jones. Let's look at ES and NQ. January 9th, we bought big on NQ. We sold hard on VIX, right? The next day after that, we bought big on NQ. Even though it was like a very hard push down, it bought up, right? Then the next day, we buying on this day on VIX. What are we doing near the high on NQ? We selling off, right? The next day, we gap up with a huge wick to take out all this candle. But then here what we doing on NQ. We selling off very, very hard on NQ. The day after that, we sell off on VIX, right? We buy up on NQ. Same thing on ES, right? We can go back today. Well, what is this? Friday, right? Friday. We buy up on VIX. VIX was closed yesterday, so you don't see the Monday candle, right? But Friday, we buy up on VIX. We sell off on NQ. Last Thursday, we sell off on on VIX. We buying on ES. We buying on VIX. We selling off hard on ES. Buying on VIX. Selling on ES. Selling on VIX. Buying hard on ES. This particular week right here, a lot of volume to the downside, right? Over here on the 12th, right? What are we doing right here? We're buying up on VIX and we're gapping up the next day. We sold over here. So they're actually doing the same thing on these 2 days. But the way you want to look at this is this gap on the next day, between the next day. This actually gap open on VIX. So that's why you still see the selling coming into place over here. Even though this was a red candle, this was a red candle, this was an indecision candle. that bought up pretty hard, but then eventually sold off. That lines up with the same thing. This bought up pretty hard and sold off. Indecision, right? This also this candle the next day. We gapped up over here. At the same time, this is a bullish move initially. That's why we still selling on the 16th, because this is actually a bullish move, right? We gap up. That's the initial buy-in, but then we eventually sell off. That makes sense because we open up and push down and sold the market off until we got to this level, and then we pushed up and started buying. That's why we got this wick. But then the following day, on this close, we get back in sync completely because now we open up, we push up, and we buy. Right around the same time, same thing happened over here in reverse. We open up, push up, sell off. And that's kind of what you want to see, right? So study this, man. It will help you with your, like I said, it'll help you with your timing. It'll help you with your decision making. And it should be like your last confirmation to kind of say like, hey, this is what I should be expecting, right? And even on your higher time frames, I would look at this too, just to make sure, like, hey, you know, while you marking up your chart, take a look at the VIX, get your bias, let that be that last little piece that you use for your confirmation. Okay? Y'all got any questions?
Corey, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. You know how like sometimes the indices might go in a different direction. Like two pairs might be the same
Mm-hmm.
and go in a direction, but another one might be going in. But if let's say I'm gonna give an example, ES and the VIX are in sync, but NQ is not, is doing the opposite. Like, and it could be just timing later on. Would you
Yeah.
go on the best one if you feel, would you feel like that confirmation would be ES if you see your setup is on ES and don't take NQ at all?
You
Or
already answered your question.
okay. I know I was
You
I
already
just
answered it.
want to make sure.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
when I trade, this is what my screen look like when I trade. Over here, let me go back to here. When I trade, my screen looks like this. And actually, since I'm mostly looking for indices, right? So that's YM. This needs to be NQ. This needs to be ES, right? And what I'm doing is, and then now I'm adding the VIX, right? If I'm looking at gold 2, I got another chart over here that if I think I got a gold set up, I'm looking at dollar, I'm looking at VIX, I'm looking at gold, and I'm looking at the rest of the indies. So my charts looks like this. This is my charts for my setups, right? This is where I got all in my direction and what I might be looking for. So I don't keep that on the same chart that I'm trading on. I put that over here, right? So the reason why I do that is because if I might have the idea that, hey, I want to trade ES, but YM might be looking better. And YM's structure may line up more closely to what I'm looking for, right? And if that's the case, I'm gonna take YM. I'm not marking these charts up just to look at them, you know what I mean? Like, or just to get an idea. And that's another thing, like, I'm actually working on too. Like, I need to take the best setup between the three.
Yeah.
And you got to get to that point too, because sometimes ES may, like you said, they may be going in opposite directions. And a lot of times what will end up happening is ES and NQ might be going in the same direction. They follow closer. And then Dow will be doing his own thing, right? But then when you look at the higher time frame structure, that's when you see they're actually doing the same thing. It's just the timing is off, right?
Yeah.
That's usually what end up happening, right? You know, you have to look at it more from a structural standpoint, right? Where in all cases, right? That's why you got to understand your PD arrays, right? And your PD arrays are your order blocks, your fair value gaps, because they all might have something on the chart, right? One might have an order block, one might have a fair value gap, one might have um a weekly opening gap, right? But it's not so much that you'd have the same structure or same PD array, but you still have something for it to be pulling to, right? Like ES just now traded to the monthly, right? And it left this low, right? If we look at NQ, traded to the monthly opening price, left this low, but NQ took the low out, right? So these are the kind of nuances that you got to look for, right? Is NQ taking out this low gonna lead ES to take out that same low on the chart, or are we gonna leave it, right? And that's where the divergence come into place, right? And the symmetry comes into place, because a lot of times that's where if you see NQ leave a low, right, but you see ES take it out, that could mean that low is in place, right? That low might be in place. And if that low is in place, then you know that, hey, I should start seeing buying on a certain pair. And then also I should see that delayed buy happen on the other pair, because now they're moving in sync. One swept liquidity, one left liquidity. And now I should see, hey, if I see that lower time frame lining up with that, then I know I can take that buy up higher. So that actually is in line with what the setup that I'm looking for to go in for this week, right? Because we just swept the low. That was a previous week low. And now we trading back inside. So and then Dow, it's the same concept, right? Dow may be doing something that the others aren't doing. And another example is find out who's leading the pack, right? Which one of the indices is leading the pack, right? And I'll show you that right now Dow is leading the pack. Dow was the first to make the all-time high over here. And that high was the last new high. Even over here, Dow was the first one to take out this high. Then we went sideways, right? And we left this all-time high. If we go and look at NQ, no, let's look at ES, right? Look at ES first. ES had the same all-time high over here, right? But Dow took it out first. But because Dow took it out, that should give you the insight to say ES and NQ should be following that at some point soon. It might not be within the same week. It might not be in the same time frame or same window. But if you know that Dow took out the all-time high, set a new all-time high, eventually, if you see buying, you should expect for that same all-time high on ES to get taken out, right? So right now, Dow took out an all-time high, ES took out an all-time high, but look who lagging. Let me show you who lagging. Let me show you who lagging. this NQ. NQ is lagging, right? Our all-time high that we expecting Dow to take out is all the way up here. So this gives you a lot of information, right? This says that the market is waiting on Dow to take out all-time highs, but it's not. So while we see ES and Dow push up, this is why we haven't pushed higher above those highs, because NASDAQ is holding us down, right? So until we start seeing NASDAQ make new highs, we won't get a new push up above those highs on ES and Dow Jones until we start seeing NASDAQ get above some new highs, even if it's short term. Because right now, even if it's short term, that should lead us, even if we just take out this weekly high from last week, right? This will mean that Dow and ES should push further above those all-time highs that we just made. Just like if we take out this high or this high, and definitely if we take out the all-time high, if we see all-time high on NASDAQ get taken out, we should really have a lot of momentum in the market. That means that we probably pushed above 7,100, 70, what is it? Not 71, but we should have pushed well above our I think it's 730 price point. 70.30, yep. 70.36 all-time high. And we should definitely be pushing towards our 50,000 price point on Dow Jones, right? We haven't done that because we need more from NASDAQ to get above that high. So all of it is like, it's really like trading is actually closer to like playing chess than a lot of people think, or it's more like a strategy game, right? And you got all these different puzzle pieces to like strategize to get the best results, right? And then once you start playing, you notice it's a lot more nuances that you can find and add to your little arsenal, like, to make it even a more cleaner experience. And, honestly, I haven't traded a lot, but my accuracy has been like probably the best it's been in a long, long, long time, because I'm more so about quality and weeding out the best of the best trades, right? And then I decided to take another account and just let that be my effort account. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, on the days when I feel like I'm a little confused about some stuff or things are not as clear, I'm gonna trade in that account. I'll take any trades in that account. But my other accounts that I'm really, really diving in and really focus on, I take A+ setups in those only. And if those A+ setups don't work, that means that, something wasn't in line, or I wasn't in, the right headspace on that day. But lately, taking these little additional pieces to add into the charts is really been helping me. And that's why I wanted to show y'all this VIX before I even go into the setups for indices on that. So with that being said, let me give y'all the rest of the charts. Any questions before I go into it?
I
Any
do
more?
have a question, and
Okay.
I hate asking these questions, but I want to make sure I understand something. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You
Mhm.
identify the movement. Let's say you see the movement on S&P and Dow, and we're waiting for NAS to make the move. If we're expecting NAS to make the move, but it's just taking a little longer, Is it safe to possibly swing that trade on the NAS?
If it's still doing what you expected to do. But
Okay.
what I was just saying earlier is if NAS is stalling, take the best setup. Take Dow instead. If Dow is doing everything that you
Got
want it
you.
to do, then take Dow. Or if ES is doing everything you want it to do, take ES. Because sometimes that's what ends up happening. The structure still may be doing what it's going to do. It just may be taking one of them longer to do it. But
Yeah, I was being greedy. I was thinking I could take the trade on Dow, then I could take the trade on S&P, and eventually I know NAS is going to follow, so I can swing it until it hits the target.
you,
So
you're not
I
being greedy.
shouldn't do that.
No, you're not being greedy. You actually that's fine too. Because at the end of the day, it's still following your rules. It's still following in line with the chart, right? You taking another trade, an additional trade, that's nothing wrong with that. Like if it's still in structure, if it's still doing what you think it's gonna do, take that trade if that's what you feel.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I personally wouldn't trade it because if I already took a trade, I should have already made my daily goal. So
Right.
um, for me, if I took the first trade, then why am I taking the second trade if I already hit my goal for the day? You know,
See, and that's why I was saying I'm being greedy. And
it,
that's how I get caught up. So you're right. You're right.
yeah, yeah. Um, so that's just a personal preference. If you just want to
Mhm.
push it and make your money and double and triple it, then go right ahead. You know,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad question.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Um, so here's Dow. So Dow so far on the I left off level. We kind of in a range right now, and our range is sitting us in between our all-time high on Dow, and then this is our monthly low on Dow. Let me clean that up a little bit. This is our month. This is our whole range for the month, right? And this is our monthly low. It's our yearly low too, but we know that this is probably gonna get taken out right now. So I'm just gonna put the monthly low right here, right? And then we have a fair value gap on the daily. Let me pull up the daily chart so you can see exactly what we're looking at. So, all right. So this is our range. This from the previous, this is our all-time high. That's that low we were just looking at. And then inside of that, we got this fair value gap from the daily. So that's where that fair value gap is coming from. And then we have above us this weekly opening gap from this week, right? So this is our first area we're going to look at. And then this is our first area on the upside that we're going to look at that could potentially be resistance. And then this is our first area on the downside that'll probably be a draw on liquidity, right? Because we open up, we down here. So it's a possibility that we should go ahead and take out this low into this fair value gap. So once we get inside of this fair value gap and take out this low, that may give us a push up higher after that, but I don't want to look at that until we either take out that low or trade up into this range. So what I'm going to be looking for, and you can see it on the 4 hour too. these clean lows down here and the low we just made, same. There's that fair value gap. So this is a bullish range right here that we could potentially see some buying in, right? Then when we go to the 1 hour, you can see a broader range that we've been ranging for the past week and a half. The same fair value gap right here. You can see the bounce off the monthly and yearly opening right here. And now you can see those lows right there are pretty much just ready to get swept, right? So this is what I'm looking at, right? We sweep these lows. If we do push to the downside, we sweep these lows and come into this daily fair value gap. There's a couple scenarios to the downside that I see. So the two downside scenarios is, if we go ahead and take these lows, we trading down into this fair value gap and we get a 1 to 2, then a 2 to 3 down here, right? But we also could get a push to the upside, in which that push to the upside is more so where we would look for a sell inside of this new week opening gap. And then you can see us taking out whatever low we made down here, or at least taking out these lows right here. So the two sell setups, one would come if we just go automatically sell off and go start pushing down into this daily fair value gap. Then the other sell setup is if we push up, but then we start to sell off and reject this new week opening gap. Our buy setup, that's to me looks like us pushing back into this new week opening gap and us trading through it, right? And that's where we would go ahead and trade into it. And then you see price start holding near this weekly opening price around 414. And then you see price start to push up and take out whatever low we made on this 2-3 move. I mean, whatever high we make on a 2-3 move up here, or if we just make a high on the 0 to 1 move, whatever high we make at these two levels, we see that it tries to take out that high after it hold inside of this range. Then the other scenario for the buy is if we do come down into this on the 0 to 1 move, or even the 2 to 3 move, we see price hold around the middle of this daily fair value gap and maybe even the low. And we see price push up from there. So those are some other scenarios too. But for now, mainly I want to see how we handle this low, these lows over here. So that's going to be the first thing I look out for. And if I see something during the 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. time frame that lines up with one of these, that's what I'm gonna be taking. I won't probably get to trade until Thursday and Friday. So this setup that I'm giving y'all will probably be what we look for between now and Wednesday. And then when we get on the call Wednesday, we would have already had a lot of news and stuff like that. And then we'll see how this matches up with what's going on with price. So let me send you guys this. This is Dow. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's Dow. I'm gonna drop it here first and then I'll put it in the chat. That way it's saved. And then we'll add it. And this is Dow. And we kind of got the same setups on NQ and ES. Like our charts pretty much are gonna be the exact same almost, just different numbers. You look at ES and NQ, the structure almost look exactly the same. Where you know, we in our case, we don't have a fair value gap, but this is actually a higher time frame order block. So just like I was saying before, it might not be the same thing, but it is a point of interest, right? So where we had a fair value gap on Dow, we got an order block on the higher time frame on NQ that could lead us to buy up, you know. So that's what I was saying, why you got to look at it from like a, you know, a different, at the different nuances in the charts, right? So there's also a little fair value gap right here. So that's why where I'm thinking that we come down on the 0 to 1 move to the downside, or this 2 to 3 move to the downside. And then maybe we get like a short-term bounce. But you know, that's why I'm looking for on the downside. Just like we were looking for a potential buy. I'm right around this area. This is probably where we could see a buy if we do. But for the most part, I'm looking for us to come down. We already took this low out on NQ. We haven't done that on Dow. And we haven't done that on ES. So I'm expecting them to kind of follow. But if we don't take this out on the rest of them, then we know we probably going to do this up move and go back into this new week opening gap. Same thing as before. We got the potential to take this low out that we just made. And if we take this low out that we just made, hold on one second. We'll raise up my desk. If we take this low out that we just made, that's when I'm expecting us to get down near that previous month low. That's what that PML stand for down here in the bottom right corner. That PML is previous month low. This is a monthly low. We just made it right here on Monday when we open up. But you can see NQ is actually pushing up higher. And if we start to see price trade above the monthly / yearly opening price, that's what the M in the red stand for. That's the monthly opening price is overlapping the yearly opening price. And the D over here, that's for daily. And then this is the weekly opening price. So because we got those near us, if we start to see NQ trade and hold above us, the rest of them should probably follow that. And then NQ might be leading us for the week. And we just got to monitor the charts, see which one leading. And then once we get the idea which one leading, we know we should trade the rest of the chart. But again, same setups, nothing too much. I don't want to like over talk it going, you know, because it's really the same concept, right? If we do push up, we need to be looking for a buy, but we also need to be looking for price if it starts to hold up around the weekly opening price and inside of this new week opening gap. And that will give us a continuation, right? But if we start to see rejection, we see a setup around this the 0 to 1 high or the 2-3 high, if it makes that, that could be a potential sell for that, right? So I'm gonna send you guys this chart. Again, it's just the same as we went over before, just different numbers. So this is NAS. Let me take the screenshot. Oops. right? And I'm gonna drop this. And then like, the last one coming up is ES. Let's go to ES chart. Again, same structure, just different numbers. So you'll see it going on into ES. Same structure, just different numbers, right? We got our range between the monthly low right here. We took out these little internal liquidity ranges right here, 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 and even this little one right here. But we held, there's the order block right here, just like we got on NQ. And now we're holding. Over here, we actually have a price gap from before. This is on the daily. That's also in line with this too. So that's kind of another reason why we holding up right there as well. But overall, again, we have a price gap on the new week opening gap from Sunday until Monday right here. We're holding near the monthly and the yearly opening price, just like we were on both of the other pairs, right? We have a weekly low that we just created that is shallow target right here. This is the current weekly low. Right? You see on my charts, you see a WL that's a weekly low. And that's our weekly low. We sitting right here at the monthly and yearly opening. We got some little short-term liquidity from these little highs right here. That would be our short-term targets if we start to make this 0 to 1 move right here from where we closed on Monday going into the high. If we make a push up from 0 to 1, that move should get us either near or at this new week opening gap. If we're going to keep going up, there should be a retracement 0 to 2. And that 0 to 2 move, if it's going to continue to go higher, should be a low that takes us at or above the high we made on the 0 to 1 and into this gap again, right? That 1 to 2 move should start the 2 to 3 move to go higher. And if there's a high in here already or somewhere near here, the low or the middle, we should take this 2 to 3 should take that out. And then if we're going to continue to go higher, then we should see price holding inside of this range. And the retracement that we get on the 3 to 4 move should be our 4-5 leg up, right? That means that if we trade back into this range, price should hold inside of this range, likely the middle or the low. And then we should see another swing low around that area to take us even higher. And that'll get us back above these little liquidity, this liquidity right here, this little trend line liquidity over here from last week. And then eventually above the all-time high. But if we cannot do this and we get either to the 1 or the 3, we likely may see a sell-off from there. That's where this red line come into play, because that's us potentially having a sell-off inside of this area. Then from the downside perspective, if we do sell off, we should get a 0 to 1 move below this weekly low we just made, right? And if we do, there should be some kind of gap or something that either just takes us through this low and even through this low. So this 0 to 1 move to the downside does have the potential to take out both of these lows, the weekly low and this monthly low, right? But if it doesn't, we get a 0 to 1. Then we have the 1 to 2 retracement that holds below the monthly and yearly open. And that gives us a short-term low short-term high to take this 2-3 setup to go ahead and finally take out the monthly low and that weekly low, right? And continue to go lower with another retracement, maybe something like this, where we have another short-term low, and then we just keep pushing lower. And then until that time frame, we can start looking for maybe a potential buy once we get into this order block from the higher time frame. That's why I'm not, if we trade below these lows, we got to see if we're going to hold inside of this range. I don't have it marked up or an extended, but just know that this is an area we can see all the way between this range that we might catch a bounce off of, particularly right around here, because that's where we moved up from the last time we moved up. And if we're going to make a higher low, we made a low here, a higher low makes sense to happen around this area, like the 68.50 area, which is right around here, or 68.25 area, which is right around here. So that would make a lot of sense. So any questions on this? Any questions? Nothing.
Nope.
No, I'm good.
No.
Make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Okay. Let me send this. And then I'm gonna close it out. After that, I'm gonna open it up for Q&A. And I know I'll go over the VIX again in a little more detail. There's some other examples. I'll go over some more examples for you guys to see. And like I said, don't trade on it until you study it. Don't trade on it until you study it. Don't use it to get setups. It's not to get setups. It's a confirmation tool. It is an additional piece to what you already should have going, right? Don't just go in VIX and be like, oh, VIX going up, I'm about to sell NQ and ES, but you don't have your daily bias already. Then you know you're not going to sell it. You're going to watch and see what's going on first. And then once you get your setup, it should go, the order of structure should be get your bias on the pair you want to trade, get your setup, I'll take that back. Get your bias, find your structure, find your PD arrays, find your order block, find your liquidity, find your fair value gaps. Once you get that, find your setup in the direction of your bias, right? If I think that this is going to be pushing up, where's the fair value gap or order block or liquidity that it should be going to get my setup, right? Then you go, hey, I know where I want to go. I know what it should be looking for. I know what my setup should be. Let me check VIX and make sure it's in line with that. Cool. I'm going to take my setup. That's how it should look. Should go that order, that structure. Not, all right, I think it should be buying. I got my daily bias, and then I'm going to go straight to VIX, right? That's not what you want to do, you know?
Yeah, means adding this VIX, we can make our setup like A++ setup, right?
That's it. That's
Mhm.
it. That's it. This is just this if you already got an A++ and you add this onto it, this just like this is the dart. This is it right here. This is the extra oomph to
Yeah.
just give you that extra confirmation, right?
Mhm.
That last piece. And just watch it for now. Don't just don't give it about a week and a half or 2 weeks or even a month. Give it that long to just have it open next to your chart or on your chart while you trade. And then just some of the days when you don't see a setup or see what you want to or you don't trade, on the days you don't trade, just open it up and just watch it. Watch them side by side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, Q&A. Last chance for questions.
Like one more time, can you explain that which data I need to get it for this?
CBOE.
CBO.
I would get both of them. It's two CBOEs. It's the indices and then it's the futures. I would get both of them, which will be one of them is $2 a month and the other one is $4 a month. Or you can just pay for the whole year. I think the one that's $2 a month, the whole year is $24.
Right.
Yeah. So and that's what I did. I just did the whole pay for the whole year. Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I think I did the $2 a month. But I'm when I realized that I did the monthly, I was like, let me just go ahead and go back and do the whole year, which I'm gonna end up going back and do.
Okay.
And where did I have that open? I think it's here. Yep. Yeah, so I did do the monthly, but I'm gonna go back and just pay this whole year. So same thing over here. This is the indices, that's the futures. Then, like I said, you just go ahead and get this added and then you'll get the live data. You can do this.
But if you are doing like right now, I am not doing indices, right? I'm doing only futures. So I can take only futures, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. But if I would just get both of them. I would
Okay.
just get both of them
Got it.
just to be on the safe side. And then like I said, the you can use it without purchasing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you won't get live data. It's a
Yeah.
15-minute delay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you want like you can still do everything that I just showed you, but
Yeah.
you just got to know that you're dealing with old data.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe if you want to look at it from an hourly perspective, a
Mm-hmm.
higher time frame perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't necessarily be doing that.
Yeah, because I was thinking because I'm doing like 1 minute, 5 minute, right? So it will be better if I'll take it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely better. You need the live data.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to wait 15 minutes on a 1 minute chart.
Yeah. And
So
yeah, again, you cleared everything, but I need to do more practice.
we gotta keep learning. That's how
Yeah.
you stay good. You gotta keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be complacent because the
I
market
remember we
change.
used to do that, like you told us, like VIX indicator kind of thing. It
Yeah,
was right. We used to do that with that indices, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like I said, I looked at this before,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't go this far into detail.
Mm-hmm.
And just having somebody else
Yeah.
opinion,
Mm-hmm.
like Ocean, like shout out to Ocean. He my other buddy that I trade with.
Okay.
I know some of y'all traded with Ocean before. I think Elaine, you in his group, right?
Ocean?
Yeah, you in Ocean group.
No, I don't think I know who that is.
Oh,
He
okay.
is in the group, I think. I saw
He's
her.
in the group, but he got his own group too.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were in there, Elaine.
No, the only other group that I'm in that I haven't been around is Nelson's.
Oh yeah. That's why I thought you was in his group. Cause they both using Discord. They both
Mm-hmm.
Discord. So I even thought about going back to Discord, but I don't know. I felt like Facebook was better because people have that eh, on their phones and they on Facebook more, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just downloaded Discord back on the phone. I mean, I like the Discord. You really are the only reason why I'm on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook like that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I know a lot of people in that situation. And it's a lot
Hmm.
of people who want to get in my group, but they don't want to open up their Facebook again. And I don't know what to tell them. So I don't want to.
Yeah, I definitely opened it up for you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, man. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. If there's no
Yes.
more questions, 7:30. This will be Sunday at 7:30. Um, this week there was a little confusion with this week and last week was a little confusion. And I'm glad we didn't do it last week. I was actually jet lagged, so
Yeah.
and so it turned out to be a blessing that I didn't do it on last Wednesday. And then Sunday, I had the links kind of jacked up.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened.
Yeah, I had the links jacked up on Sunday. And then hey, it was a holiday today, so it
Yeah, it's
didn't.
all good. We're here tonight.
Yeah. So Wednesday, 7:30, and then moving forward, this will be at 7:30 on Sunday.
Okay,
Okay. All
cool. All
right.
right.
All right, guys. I'll
Thank you.
catch y'all on Wednesday. Uh and hopefully y'all catch some trades. Like I said, I won't be trading until Thursday and Friday. So if y'all use these setups, y'all use this charts, drop some emojis in the group. I want to try to make the group a little more active. I need some more people talking. I need some people giving out some insight in the group. And if y'all know somebody, y'all want to add them. If they already got a little trading history or a little trading background, you can add them to the group. If y'all want to. I don't mind the newbies, but I don't know if I can teach the beginning stuff right now. Um,
Understood.
but I can lead them to the right direction um to get to that point. And then Shanika, she's about to drop some basic videos in the group. There already is some basic stuff in the group already. I just don't think that people realize it. Um, if you go to in the group and then like normally it's better if you go from the computer. So if you go on the computer and you in Facebook and you'll see these little links, you'll see
Mhm.
discussions, guide, features, members, events, media, and files, right? And there's some stuff under each one of these that you can get some value from. So under our guide, if you ever looking for any of the videos that I posted, it's gonna or the charts that I posted is gonna be under guide one, and that's gonna be weekly analysis by myself or Shanika if she posts something. Then you got your daily outlooks. That's gonna be again videos of where if you want to know where all of the YouTube videos, because this is gonna go up on YouTube, it's gonna go in here, right?
Thank you. Okay.
Is gonna go in here, right? So if you ever want to find one of the videos, it's gonna be here, right? And then I was a long time ago trading Sydney session every now and then. Maybe I might do that again. I don't know, but it's kind of a waste for me. But this is where those setups will go. Any other little resources I find that's gonna go on the guide for. Um, right now it's like a futures risk calculator. And I think I did a video to explain to you how to calculate risk on there. Mindset videos, if I find them, anything related to mindset stuff, it's going to go in the guide 5. And then guide 6, I don't remember what I was gonna use this for, but I'll figure that out. And any of the option plays that I found, they're gonna go under here. If I remember to post them in here, but they're under guide 7. Any option plays that I take, and then there's a couple of videos. This is actually the video I use to learn how to trade options. So if you want to get into that, it's on the guide 7. And then I think Shanika pulled out the videos that were in here, but this is where the beginner videos is going to be under guide 8, and that's under price action basics. I'm gonna probably do I'm not even probably, I'm gonna do a smart money video series. I just hadn't done it, and I'm trying to figure out like how I want to do it, because I really think I should be charging for that. I don't want to charge you guys, but if I do it, it's gonna be under here or somewhere along those lines, right? So that's that. And then the next section is where you can find some stuff, some good info is featured. So everything that I featured, like if I post the YouTube, the charts and stuff, you can find them under featured. That way you don't have to like be confused where to go to look for the links, right? So every time I put the setups in the chart, it's gonna go under featured, or you can see the feature listed right here at the top, over here. In events, this is where the links to all of the sessions going to be all the time. And then the other one is media. Any of the posts I post or any of the pictures that y'all put up is going to go in here. And then files, if I got any books or printable resources, is going to go here. So like we just did the 12-week year, which we can touch bases on, because I don't know if y'all did this. How did y'all guys go through this when we did
I'm
this call?
actually reading it now, well, through Audible.
Okay. Have you guys actually planned out y'all 12-week year yet?
No, I'm actually working on it now as we speak.
Okay, okay. We did a really good session on this. I think it looks like it was like December 21st session. So if you go through that video that we did on December 21st, we actually went over the book, and there's a PDF that you can print out to go through yours. And then what I recommend, and I'm gonna tell you what I did over my time off, is I use ChatGPT to I had a real like in personal conversation where I basically laid out exactly where I am with my trading, right? I told it all my wins, my loss. I uploaded all of my exported all of my trade information from each of my brokers. Where I won and lost, any graphs or any reports, I put it all in ChatGPT. So that way I can get my baseline to see exactly where I am at the moment. Then I used it to plan out my KPIs, my key performance indicators, right? What numbers, how can I turn everything that I'm doing into a number that I can get a value from, right? And calculate it, right? How can I make the things that I do a number? So that way I can say that I can easily check off certain things, right? And then I had it set up my 12-week goal, my 12-week year, where I had all my tasks, all my goals. I had all my goals and then all my tasks that I do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in order to get to my 12-week goal. And I kind of went through that on that December 21st video. And then I can even show you just a little of it. I can show you a little of it. what I got from ChatGPT that I think that you guys should kind of do as well if you got ChatGPT. But I'm using my ChatGPT to be like the coach, coach
Okay.
me. And that way I can like go through my charts and get real insight from what I'm seeing, right? So let me find it. It's coming up. And I took my time with this. I say it took me probably like a week or two to go through this and get all of this. So I could get a valid, like clean interpretation of everything that I'm looking at, right? So this is like one of the it's still coming up. Hold on. All right, so this was what I got out of okay, so this was my baseline, right? This after I went through all my trades or whatever, let me see. No, this is not it. This one. Okay. So in going through my goal setting, right? All of my funded accounts, all of those, I threw all of that data in the ChatGPT. Each one of my accounts. So I reviewed every trade I took over the past 90 days, right? And then I threw it into here, and then I had it go and look at what I was doing on all of my trades, what kind of data I could get from all of my trades. And basically, it gives you insight, right? So if we looking at this, when I put in all my stuff for TraderVate, for Wealth Charts, these are my Apex accounts, right? I got like 12 of them. So that's why I got like 12. I have 12 Apex accounts. I have 2 Top Step accounts. I have one Apex account that's finished, and I'm trading that one. That's the PA account. And then I have 3 $300,000 accounts that's almost done. I think I just need like $3,000 on those. And then I have a couple other accounts that I'm close to being finished too. But the insight that you're getting off of this, right? So my Wealth Charts account, that's my parent account. I got these accounts associated to it. Primary execution, that's where all of my main trades come from, right? Then I have a couple accounts that are also active. Those are my Apex TraderVate accounts. These are my accounts that I just do it. Just do whatever I'm gonna do in it. But I'm still using all of my trading nuances. I'm not just throwing anything in a bucket, but they just not A+ setups, right? So I'm doing that in here. Then again, I got a couple of accounts that I just haven't started yet. So 3 accounts that I haven't started yet. Then, all right, this is all the data from these accounts. The main thing that I'm trading in there is ES. I'm trading the micros. My best trades, based off of what I threw in the ChatGPT, is I'm staying in those trades 5 to 15 minutes. That means that I see the setup. If I don't see it, that means I need to get out of there, because that means that that's probably not a good setup. And the longer I hold is usually not a good trade, right? I'm trading at 80 to 85%. My profit target is 4.5. I mean, my win profit factor is 4.5 to 1. So every time I lose a trade, I'm winning 4.5 more, right? So that means that I can, if I lose, All I need to do is stay within that 4.5 to 1 ratio, right? So I have a good profit ratio, right? The copier results, multiple accounts green, quality. This qualifies as a production ready system. And this account, my other smaller accounts, right? These are the ones that I'm just doing anything in, right? They still up, but I don't follow my rules as strictly in these accounts. And that's why I was saying, like, have a couple accounts that you trade in, because that give you that time. I'm gonna use a cuss word, that give you the room to fuck up sometimes, right? You know, don't mind me. I don't usually cuss on here, but it just
It's
makes sense to
okay.
say, right? That give you that extra room, right, to make those mistakes, right? Then the overall behavior, right? This all from ChatGPT, but it's valuable insight. You getting this information about yourself that you might not even know that you have, like, to consider, right? And then finally, I'm gonna skip on to the bottom, right? Because that's the important part, right? The bottom, this, hold on, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let me go into my ChatGPT. Yeah. Eventually, I had it spit out like a little checklist for me to come up with. And I think here. I'll send it to y'all. I'll add it into the group. That's what I'll do, because I don't want to. It's my computer running a little slow. That's why it's taking me a minute. But I'll put it in the group as something in here. I'll put it in here, and so that y'all can use it too. Okay.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
And on that note, see y'all Wednesday. I'm about to grab something to eat. I'm about to go get in the shower, and I'm about to lay it down.
Yep. Thank you so much.
All
Thanks,
right, girl.
Corey. Thanks, everyone.
Peace
Thank
out.
Have
you
a good
so
night,
much.
y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.